The soft click of the latch broke the stillness of the otherwise quiet house. 8 years. 8 years of crafting this existence, brick by meticulous brick. 8 years filled with joy reverberating through these corridors, of little handprints marked on newly painted walls, of hushed vows and collective aspirations shared under the covers in our bedroom. At this moment, the silence hung thick in the air, laden with unspoken truths. She stepped out of the children's room, her smile unwavering, the sort meant for enchanting tales and soothing melodies at bedtime. It wavered, disintegrated, and ultimately disappeared entirely as she caught sight of me in the doorway. Her eyes, typically glowing with warmth, were now wide with a chilling, stark fear. Barrett, I was unaware of your arrival. Her voice floated like a whisper, almost imperceptible. I chose not to reply. I raised my phone, its screen glowing with an image. They were intertwined in our car, in broad daylight, captured in a casual snapshot sent by a friend, a moment that shattered my world into a million pieces. Her complexion faded to a ghostly pallor. She swayed, her hand extending toward the wall for stability. The performance was truly exceptional. Barrett, allow me to clarify. The phrases felt stifled, practiced. Could you clarify what you mean, Julia? Describe how you could gaze into our children's eyes, kiss them goodnight, while being aware that you were undermining everything we created together. My voice was soft, unsettlingly serene. The fury, a seething blaze inside, was hardly restrained. She faltered, tears brimming in her eyes, but I interrupted her. Spare me the theatrics of your feigned sorrow. Keep it for someone special. The name lingered in the atmosphere, heavy with revulsion. Daniel, the one I thought was my friend, the one who stood by me in both good times and bad, giving me advice and sharing drinks, all the while quietly unraveling my existence. He means nothing to me, she whispered, her voice trembling. I laughed, a harsh, hollow sound. Nothing. You're willing to risk everything, our family, our home, our children's happiness, for nothing. The silence that followed was deafening. She understood that I was there for her. Caught, exposed. Where is he? I inquired, my voice scarcely rising above a whisper. She flinched. I don't know, the lie was transparent. I retrieved my phone once more, this time entering Daniel's number. I activated the speakerphone feature. It chimed 3 times before he picked up. His voice, jovial, unsuspecting, filled the room. Hello, Barrett. How are you doing? The informal salutation, the boldness of it, ignited a new surge of anger within me. Julia's gaze was locked onto mine, filled with desperation and fear. Daniel, I said, my voice eerily composed. I understand. Silence enveloped the line. Then a hesitant, no, know what? I raised the phone, presenting the screen to Julia. Daniel's name, shining, is aware of you and my wife. Be aware of your small meeting. Within my vehicle, yet another stillness prevails. Then, with a click, he ended the call. Julia crumpled to the floor, her sobs echoing with raw emotion. I observed her, devoid of any emotion. The affection, the faith, the countless moments woven together, now nothing but remnants in the wind. I stepped away from her, exited the house, and slid into my car. I drove, initially without direction, the fire of my emotions smoldering within me. At that moment, I realized my destination. Daniel resided in a stylish, contemporary apartment building, a sharp departure from our humble family dwelling. I took a spot on the opposite side of the road and bided my time. He appeared quickly, disheveled and pale, as if the world had weighed heavily upon him. He was on the phone, his voice filled with urgency. Most likely reaching out to Julia, I exited the vehicle and approached him. Upon catching sight of me, he halted abruptly, his phone tumbling to the ground with a sharp clatter. Barrett, he faltered, his gaze filled with trepidation. I remained silent. I approached him and took a swing. My fist struck his jaw, sending him crashing to the ground. He let out a cry, his hands gripping his face tightly. You scoundrel, I bellowed, towering above him. You have deceived me, shattering my family in the process. He shrank back, attempting to protect himself from my wrath. I seized him by the collar and yanked him upright. Do you really believe you can simply turn your back on this? I growled. Do you really believe you can take my wife and all that I've built? He let out a soft whimper, his eyes flitting about in search of a way out. There was nothing. I'm going to destroy you, Daniel, I said, my voice deep and threatening. I will reclaim all that you have taken from me, piece by piece. I let him go, and he staggered backward, his face marked with bruises and blood. I turned and walked away, leaving him hunched on the sidewalk, a shattered, pitiable silhouette. The upcoming weeks passed in a haze. The divorce proceedings unfolded in a tumultuous and agonizing manner. Julia resisted me at every turn, attempting to portray me as the antagonist, the one lacking stability. Yet, I possessed the undeniable evidence, the irrefutable proof of her treachery. The judge discerned the truth behind her fabrications. I have been granted custody of the children. They felt a swirl of confusion and heartbreak. I tried my best to explain, to shield them from the ugliness of it all, but the damage was done. In the meantime, Daniel found himself stripped of all he once had. His standing, his profession, his upscale residence. He was cast out, shunned by all who once called him friend. His universe, constructed from falsehoods and treachery, fell apart around him. The retribution I once desired eluded me. It lacked fulfillment, felt devoid of substance, vacant. The sole comfort I discovered lay within the gaze of my children, in the pure and unwavering love they offered. We were shattered, marked by our past, yet we stood united. And gradually, with great effort, we started to mend, to reconstruct our existence, piece by meticulous piece. The stillness in the house had lost its weight. It resonated with the soft hum of determination, the subtle assurance of a fresh start.